Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Tuesday, September 18th, 11:16 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. You're looking at the UAH satellite-based temperature of the global lower atmosphere. That's the University of Alabama, Huntsville. And what you can clearly see is global temperatures have been plummeting for over 2.5 years since February 2016. Global temps have dropped over 0.6 degrees C, sitting just 0.19 degrees C above baseline since 1979. The mainstream media is not going to tell you about that. They're going to scream about global warming while the planet is rapidly cooling. Florence flooding is the slow motion train wreck that we forecast here at the station and warned everyone about. Days after landfall, the remnant storm continues to pummel flood-scarred communities in North Carolina. They even got to Jesus. It's true. On Monday, amid a mandatory evacuation order, residents of this inland city of around 200,000 flocked to a bridge east of town to gaze at the rapidly rising Cape Fear River. Under the first blue skies in days, they took pictures of large trees and other debris that made its way down a wide and muddy river toward the Atlantic coast. And the floodwaters are rising. That's what they wanted to take a picture of. I have no idea why. It's amazing. Look at all the trash and debris in the river. Florence's flood claims more lives as pollution concerns mount. It's getting disgusting, to say the least. The rains have finally left the Carolinas, but the risks are growing with the rising rivers. Now, the big picture is these rivers are going to flood to 1,000-year levels. Some have already crested today, some will crest tomorrow, and that will bring more loss of life. Now let's talk about the hazardous waste concerns. As of noon Tuesday, the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality said 4 hog lagoons had suffered structural damage. Another 13 had discharged waste when they were overtopped, and 9 had been inundated. And all that's in the floodwater. At least 4 power plants that store coal ash have reported some type of breach in the containment, which raises the possibility that byproducts, including mercury and other heavy metals, are in the water supply. Yeah, it's true. Coal ash contains hazardous heavy metals, including arsenic and mercury. One such spill occurred in the Sutton Power Plant on Lake Sutton, according to the Washington Post. The coal ash landfill there lost more than 2,000 cubic yards of toxic waste, enough to fill 150 dump trucks. Six more than a gross. That's 12 dozen. By the numbers, rising rivers are now cresting or will soon crest, as I had already said. The Lumber River at Lumberton, Cape Fear at Fayetteville. And here you can see the progression of record flooding exceeding Harvey levels right here on Tuesday. Hurricane Harvey. Now let's talk about the chickens. At least 1.7 million chickens dead in flooding from Florence. Whew. That could be a song. Major poultry producer says. We've seen the dramatic flooding across the Carolinas after Hurricane Florence. We've seen the fear-mongering weathermen hang on to trees and pretend the wind was blowing them down. But what you haven't heard of is the 1.7 million chickens that have died in flooding because they just left them out here to die. So not only do you have all the toxic waste I just told you about, you also have all the millions of carcasses of dead animals and flesh and rotting bacteria in this water. The chickens died at 60 farm building located at independent farms in North Carolina. Sanderson Farms announced Monday the number of chickens killed by flooding might continue to rise, as the rivers do, the company says. Whew, and that's tonight's first nasty boom. It's nasty. Now, if you eat chicken nuggets from McDonald's, you're safe because there's no chicken in there. Just saying. Fear near Cape Fear rises with the river. It's like we live in a poetry book. And the death toll from Florence keeps growing, kids. Look at him pointing. That's a water spout type thing. We couldn't even check that out. I don't even know what that is. Few places in North Carolina. CNN. Let's take a look. We're here. We're making the video together. So let's do it. See what this guy's pointing at. It's amazing. He's pointing out there and what's going on? It looks like Turd Skimmer. Yes. See, this is kind of faking. Derek Van Dam. Barely 100-mile-an-hour winds. Selfie stick mania. That's how they do it, guys. That's how they get you there. You're watching. A few places in North Carolina got rain on Tuesday, but that didn't stop the rivers from rising. "14 river gauges recorded record levels above major flood stage," the North Carolina Emergency Management Agency tweeted. Many of those waterways were rising or cresting, though a few were receding, which I found using USGS. The Cape Fear River near Fayetteville was rising and had quadrupled in depth and is only going to get worse, like bringing more misery. But there are glimmers of hope in the wake of Florence. Some North Carolina residents were being told they could return home to beachside communities of Wrightsville. Good news. Go back and see your wrecked homes. It's amazing. The mainstream media says we're burning up, and the facts show that in the last 2.5 years, the temperature has dropped dramatically on the planet. Links to all this below. Florence was another 1,000-year rain event. Is this the new normal as the planet warms? No, it's not happening. There is no warming. The planet is cooling. It is the new norm as the planet cools, however. So, get your phraseology right. 4 states have set tropical storm rainfall records, totally fluxed in the past year. Has nothing to do with warming, because the Earth has been cooling, folks, since February 2016. What has increased since February 2016 is cosmic rays. And that has led to 4 states setting tropical storm rainfall records in the past year. And that is a fact, Jack. And that's a boom. Love me or hate me, cold reception for late summer snow on the West Coast. This is coming from PAL. Airlines and aerospace meteorologist Brian Walsh says it's the first official report of snow in Newfoundland in the summer. Deer Lake is reporting wet snow at this hour. I believe it's the first official report of snow in the summer in Newfoundland. Al! Fucking fraud. Al Gore made millions off of his fraudulent books, movies, and was given the Nobel Peace Prize for saying that we're all burning up back in 2007. Now, the temperature is currently colder right now than when he won the Nobel Peace Prize. Over a decade ago. What's happening? They don't want us to see the facts. We're going to reload it. You want to see the facts? Come over to the GFS model. Here's this weekend. All of Canada is getting a nice drapery of snow. And into midweek next week and into next weekend. You could see most of Canada getting hit except far reaches of southern Ontario. And what they don't want you to see is Whistler in BC seeing its first flakes of snow in the summer. So we won't look at it. Snow drenches crops. Some Alta farmers hope for clear skies. Probably not happening. We just saw the GFS model. September has been wet, snowy, and cold, but some northern Alberta farmers say there's still time for a successful harvest if drier weather comes. Well, we'll see what happens. Here's the Alberta forecast moving forward that we just showed you. And it's the snowiest September so far ever. And there's another round of snow coming. I showed it to you. Those are sensible glasses. Very sensible. Whew. They don't do anything. September 18th, heavy late winter snow fell across parts of New Zealand in recent days, and it is a reminder that Al Gore was full of shite. This wintry scene in New Zealand will leave many wondering when the first snowfall will hit their area. What are they talking about? Al said there wasn't going to be any snow. Warnings issued as Storm Muhammad Ali nears Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Northern Britain. Storm Ali is approaching Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Northern Britain today, forcing authorities to issue wind warnings across the region. This is the first officially named storm by the UK Met Office and the Met Eltrian of the 2018-19 season. It's no beast from the east, but it is the Ali from the Baba, and it will track close to the west and northwest coast of Ireland from the early hours of Wednesday morning until late afternoon, September 19th, in which case all of you on this island will be totally drenched, totally pissed, totally dampened, and totally fluxed. Yes, these are facts, and we're grabbing you with them, and that's a boom. Be safe, everyone in Britain. More than 100 killed after widespread floods hit Nigeria due to cosmic ray flux, increased cloud nucleation, and 1,000-year events like this. More than 100 were killed after two major rivers burst their banks in Nigeria, destroying homes and farms. A national disaster has been declared in 4 of Nigeria's 36 states. Water levels in parts of the country are reaching those recorded in 2012, when the country endured its worst flooding in more than 50 years. What is going on? Oh, facts. That's why we watch the channel. All the links below. Severe hailstorm destroys fruit, vegetable, and paddy crops in Kashmir. Yes. Ice Age Farmer put it on the map. Total losses of fruit, vegetable, and paddy crops have been reported after a powerful hailstorm tore through Kashmir late last week. According to official assessments, over 30 districts were badly affected in the widespread storm, including Central Kashmir's Bugdam district. I have apple orchards over 30 canals of land, but the hailstorm damaged them completely, said Bugdam farmer Abdul Ahad Bhat. And there is the hail in question. That motherfucker. I hate it when the hail hits my apples. They're praying for hail in Fiji. Fiji drought. Farmers report drastically reduced harvests. Harvests. Man, where did I invent that word? Harvests. That's from North Philly, where I was born and bred. Surveys carried out by the National Farmers Union have already reduced this year's La Bassa sugar crop from the forecast 750,000 tones to 600,000 tones because of the drought. No cosmic ray flux here. In fact, when you get atmospheric rivers and high cosmic ray flux events dumping rivers of water in other places, you get multi-decadal and centennial droughts that are unprecedented in areas like Fiji. Now, this drought is ongoing for over 7 years. Fresh vegetables are in short supply and expensive. And many worry it's so dry this year the crops left for next season are weak and unhealthy, Mr. Lai said. And when Mr. Lai talks, people listen. Yes, they do. Someone told me that once. Kuzdar drought, city of forest turned to desert wasteland. Yes, it's true. Look at the picture. Cracked mud, tumbleweed. No brainer. Once a city of forest with life-giving waterfalls, Kuzdar in Pakistan is fast becoming a desert wasteland due to a long and severe spell of drought. Where have I heard this before? I have no idea, but there'll be links below. Seismic update. Everything is blown up really big. Check out all the yellow dots on the ring of fire. We have some uptick activity in northern Alaska today, where that big boomer kicked off just about a month ago, 5.1, kicking off on the north coast. 5.1 in Japan. 5.2 in East Timor. 5.8 South Indian Ridge. 5.2 Raoul Island, New Zealand. We have had some tremors near New Zealand, 4.3 here today. 5.5 in Fiji. We're expecting an uptick here. 5.1 in South Tonga. 5.8 Giso, Solomon Islands. Rocking. And our most recent quake is thanks to the oil and gas industry, 9 kilometers southeast of Guthrie, Oklahoma. Man, these facts are really grabbing me. Seismic activity increase at a volcano in the Aleutian Islands. The Alaskan Volcano Observatory is keeping watch on a remote volcano that is showing signs of erupting. The observatory Monday increased the alert level from advisory to watch at Semisopochnoi in the Aleutians. The volcano is on an uninhabited island between Attu and Adak. Now, Semisopochnoi has very little information because it's in the middle of nowhere. Although it did erupt in 1987, April 13th, confirmed VEI2, and there are other hypothesized events, and a confirmed 1873 eruption of an indeterminate magnitude. This baby's young and ready to rock. You know what else is ready to rock? Not our grid. It's ready to blow. Tech warning, huge solar storm wiping out global technology is a matter of when, not if. And if you watched any of the interviews with Lee Wheelbarger on our former radio program, you know we're telling you the truth. Solar storms erupt out of our sun on a regular periodic timetable. With our magnetosphere waning, it's only a matter of years until a huge solar storm wipes out all global technology and sends us back to the Stone Age. This is the biggest worry that we have here at Oppenheimer Ranch Project. A major solar flare damaging the grid in an unprecedented way. So, keep your eyes to the skies, especially the sun. Learn how to watch the sun and get an app that has solar weather forecasting on it and alerts so you know when an X20 hits that the shit's about to hit the fan. A devastating solar storm is a matter of when and not if, says every logical scientist, including myself. And will have the ability to wipe out communications on Earth, amongst other things. It's going to light the planet on fire. If it's a Carrington type event, it will heat up a lot of the power lines, which are located by trees. And many areas are experiencing droughts. And you can make up the rest of the novel yourself. Astronomers spot unprecedented glow around a neutron star, and whatever it is, they think it's important. Whew. Thank God they're working hard at NASA. Man, these guys are amazing. You know what's amazing? Pigweed. It may be toxic to livestock, but it is not toxic to you. It's now currently aggressively being pulled from gardens and tree beds in the United States in great numbers, but it is lovingly cultivated in other parts of the world. Amaranthus retroflexus is known by many other names besides pigweed. including green amaranth, redroot amaranth, careless weed, and food. In places like the islands, they call it callaloo. And like other members of the amaranth family, it has a storied history and an important role as a food staple in many cultures. Get to know it. It grows everywhere, and you can eat the leaves, the stems, the roots, and the seeds. Its designation in a weed lies in the fact that each plant produces 100,000 seeds, ensuring many generations per season. The seeds themselves are rich in protein and have a higher protein content than rice, sorghum, or rye. They can be easier to digest than soy, wheat, or dairy, and can be ground into a meal or pop like corn. Other species that you grow in your garden that they sell you for way too much, like Amaranthus grentis, is used to make a sweet snack sold in the streets of Mexico called alegria, or happiness. Now, the Aztecs grew Amaranthus crenutus right down here, the red cruntus, for both seeds and the dark red flowers, which were used ritualistically in ceremonies. So this is some badass shit. And they don't want you to know about it because it's good for you. And it kills like 8 birds with 1 stone. Not only that, it is glyphosate tolerant, and that's insane. Now, 10 reasons why you should be using chlorine dioxide, which is not Clorox bleach. By the way, you idiots. There's a bunch of dumb people giving Clorox bleach to their babies to cure autism because they think that's what chlorine dioxide is. They couldn't be further from the truth. Chlorine dioxide is non-toxic and harmless, and in fact very beneficial. It has been shown to cure autism, HIV, AIDS, and cancer. And I'm not making this up. But you have to make it at home yourself and eat it fresh. To do the chlorine dioxide protocol, it is very specific, and there are instructions on the internet how to do it. I'm not going to tell you how to do it because I don't want you to kill yourself. But do not give your baby Clorox. It is not chlorine dioxide. Chlorine dioxide breaks down to all non-toxic parts, including salts and water. But it's an amazing antibacterial, and it's a wonder drug. So if you're interested, check out 10 reasons why you should be using it and Google chlorine dioxide for health on your own. Resist. Do not comply. You'll know when the moment arises. John Casey was not complying. And back in the 2nd of February 2016, this is his testimony to the U.S. House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. And he was offering his analysis on the current situation regarding climate, including temperature data sets, the basic understanding of climate change, the effects that regulations such as the Paris Agreement might have on climate, the popular notion that extreme climate change events are increasing due to human-induced climate change, which they are not, and the unfortunate direction research in this area has taken. I can't agree with his words more. I implore you to read the document. 23 pages with graphs. So at least scroll through it, you lazy pricks. Now, I put up an amazing climate debate, a very rare climate debate. Dr. Judith Curry versus Dr. Hockey Stick Man. And Dr. Patrick Moore and David Titley is in there. 2 global warming alarmists and 2 climate change realists. It's an hour and a half, and it's worth a listen, especially if you're new to the game. As well as this 23-page document. It will put you in a good place. Read it. Do your homework. Question everything. Don't believe the hype. It's a sequel. Survive and thrive. Prepare now. Learn about organic sprouting seeds. On our website, you can buy a 45-watt full spectrum LED panel that will grow enough sprouting seeds to keep you and your family alive. Not only that, if you just supplement your food right now with them, it will keep you healthier than anyone else on the planet. Great prices here at My Patriot Supply. Through the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, you support the channel, you support your health, you support your preparedness, because starting to sprout seeds lets you learn how to start to grow your own food. It's one of the easiest ways to grow. You're sprouting the seeds in a controlled environment, and you learn what seeds look like, different plants. Look what clover seeds look like, radish seeds, wheat seeds, pea seeds, mung beans, garbanzos. Those are chickpeas, kids. Buckwheat, lentils. That makes soup. But you sprout them and you eat them fresh. You eat the bean, the sprout, the root. It's delicious. Look at the prices. $3 for a half a pound. $2.95 buckwheat. You can't beat it. Support your health, support your preparedness, learn how to sprout something. Do it now. You're wasting time. And those are the facts, and that's a boom. Hope you got something out of the video. Times are changing. The mainstream media wants you to believe that we're burning up. Yet, all the students at the University of Alabama, Huntsville know the temperature has been dropping since February of 2016. And the media is full of it. Are you full of it?